So I just got out of a screening of Trailer Park Boys 3, Don't Legalize It. It was decent. I don't know what I was expecting. I was hesitant to go into it, but it was exactly what I expected. It was a Trailer Park Boys movie. It didn't really bring anything new to the table, but if you're a fan of this franchise, you'll enjoy it. If you're not a fan, this isn't really going to turn you in any way. For those of you who don't know who the Trailer Park Boys are, fucking stop living under a rock and find the fuck out. They're these guys from Canada. They live an hour away from where I live. They just did this like really low budget show about people who live in a trailer park and commit crimes. It was a big hit and it's funny as hell, and I felt it kind of broke stereotypes of Canadians, because these guys don't really fit Canadian stereotypes. They're not like nice people, stuff like that. It's like not always winter, but it's a really good show. Check out the show. The movies are decent, and this is another good addition to the show. Speaking of winter weather, though, like 2 or 3 of the scenes in this movie actually did have weather, so that makes me question when this was filmed, because there's been some pretty rough winters up here over the past year or two. Like, it's fucking April right now, and we just got snow. Like, not a little bit of snow, like full-on snowstorm. So it makes me wonder when the hell this was actually shot. This was probably shot like last year, and we had another difficult winter. But on with scenes. I'd say my favorite scene, whatever, would be the funeral one at the start. Just because I don't even know what people's initial impression would be at the start, because you see like all these cars and trailers just driving to this dump, and they're stopping. My initial impression was like, oh, is a drug deal going down or something, or has the trailer park been destroyed? Some weird stuff like that. But no, it turns out it's a funeral for Ricky's father, who died in a propane explosion because he was drunk, trying to steal propane while drinking, and he was trying to steal propane from Canadian Tire or something while drunk. He was smoking a cigarette and just blew himself all the fuck. So they're having a funeral for him, and you just get an initial glance at like all the characters and like how they've changed coming into this new movie. And Blakey and Randy are there again, and no one wants them there, and they're like, oh, we fucking invite ourselves, and they just start shit, and they eventually leave. That scene was one of my favorites because it was really touching and really interesting. My other one would have to be the end, because it actually does wrap up the stories pretty well, and like it does in most Trailer Park Boys movies, it sets them off. Like it's if this was the final movie, it could end here and it would be fine. No one would have a fucking problem with that. That was another really good scene. The second, I wouldn't call this a scene in the movie, I'd call it more of a secondary trailer, is when the movie starts, it says Trailer Park Boys, plays the music, and then it goes, we're interrupting Trailer Park Boys, and it's basically a trailer for the actor's next movie called SwearNet, which is promoting their own website. It's basically a movie about their website or something. It looks funny, to say the least, like interesting. Other than that, I don't really know. Like it's a great film. I just can't think of any other scenes I can pick off the top of my head that I like. Normally when I do videos like this, there'd be someone else here for me to bounce off ideas off of, so there could be more material, but there's nothing. It's just me soloing it today. So yeah, don't legalize it. Oh right, the the scene when they're at the Parliament House or whatever, that was actually pretty funny. I'm surprised that no actual government employee didn't like do a cameo. Like a cameo by Stephen Harper would have been kind of funny. Hell, even if Rob Ford had fucking showed up, I would have been fucking hooting and hollering if that happened, because that would have been awesome. My only slight complaint with this is I feel they could have done a little bit less scripted. Like if a few of the scenes had actually been actual people's reactions instead of like being extras that they paid, if it just been like people there, because there's like two scenes. There's one with Randy and Leahy in the bathroom, and Leahy's trying to sniff coke off of Randy's underwear because he spilled the cocaine in his pants. If there had been like just the people investigating the bathroom, finding out what the commotion was, if that had actually been people they didn't pay, just people actually there, I think that would have been kind of cool. Or if the fight scenes out in public, like out at the bar in Montreal, or after the Parliament scene, if that had been some real people involved with those scenes, that would have been kind of cool. Another thing, Bubbles actually kind of changes a lot as a character in this. He's still quirky, weird, like, oh, what's going on, guys? Sort of thing. But seriously, he kind of kicks some major ass in this. Leahy and Randy try to like abduct him or something after Julian gets arrested, and he basically pretends to go with them, gets a drink, because Mr. Leahy has a fucking drink machine in the back of his car because he's a fucking drunk trailer park supervisor. And he basically doesn't go with them. He chokes out Randy, and then him and Leahy have like a fucking liquor bottle fight where like throwing bottles of beer at each other. That was another good scene. But yeah, if you're a fan of Trailer Park Boys, go fucking see it. I don't really know if there's anything in the film you wouldn't like if you don't like Trailer Park Boys. The story is Julian is selling piss to people who need to pass drug tests. He's making a big deal up in Montreal. Bubbles, his parents died, and they left him this piece of land and house, and he has to go check it out. The house is located in Windsor, Ontario somewhere, and Ricky wants to go protest to the government about how they shouldn't legalize marijuana. So they all just go up there and they do their separate things. All the characters from the show are back in this, and awesome. Like always, J-Rock is in it and played excellently by Jonathan Torrance again. One of the interesting things about this movie is that time has passed in the trailer park. So Ricky's daughter is no longer 12 in this. She's like 18 or something. I thought that was an interesting thing, like actually seeing her older in this. The boys had like a falling out, I guess, in between the films or something, due to spoilers, by the way. I don't know if this was clear. Ricky's father dying, sort of a falling out. Ricky doesn't want to work with Julian anymore because every time he works with Julian, he goes to jail and gets into shit. So they're kind of not working together. So that's like one half of the story is them trying to get back together and stuff. But it was really good, actually. Leahy's back. He is once again trying to get the boys put in jail. This time he takes his addiction one step further. This time he's on white liquor. He's on cocaine. Randy's back in it as his fucking sidekick, and it works. Like, just the dynamic between them. It's probably has some of the best stuff out of the film. Is either the dynamic between Leahy and Randy, and the dynamic between Bubbles and, well, just Bubbles in general, like how he works off of all the other characters. Another thing that's kind of funny is Bubbles' storyline is, like I said, his parents die and he has to go check out this property up in Windsor. But prior to that, he's really down on his luck. He's like living underneath J-Rock's deck, and J-Rock just wants him to get the hell out of the house. But yeah, if you like the Trailer Park Boys, you pretty much know what you're getting into. You probably will like it. It's a Trailer Park Boys movie. Randy and Leahy, they feel less cartoony in this one than they did in the second one, which I do kind of like. There's one scene with like Randy and Leahy trying to get a hold of Ricky after the cop, one of the cops has him in custody or something that goes a little bit too far, but other than that, they're just dim-witted villains and they work just fine. Leahy's plan was to plant coke under their car and then call in a bomb threat or bomb scare, and then when the car was investigated, they'd find the coke and they'd go to jail. That part didn't work. It worked, but didn't quite work out too well because Leahy kept on trying to steal most of the coke because he was now addicted to it. But yeah, it was cool. They show some locations in Moncton, which I thought is kind of cool, like places I recognize. Like there's a shot of the casino in like the background of some place, and they also stop at the McDonald's there, which is kind of fucking sweet. Okay, that's all for this review for now, and I'm gonna come back with trailers. So the trailers for this one were, one of them was Let's Be Police Officers or something. I'm torn about this film. I'm truly am torn. One half of me says this actually seems like an interesting concept, while the other half of me says this is fucking stupid. The basic plot is these two guys, they go as police officers for Halloween, and people believe they're cops, so they basically pretend to be police officers. I don't know. It looks interesting, to say the least. It's funny from what the trailer shows, but I've never heard of these actors before, and I don't know who the director is, so I'm not going to be overly trustworthy of this film. The other trailer was Tammy. Tammy, from what I know, stars Melissa McCarthy. That's it. From what the credits showed, Sandra Bullock's back in it. Melissa McCarthy and Bullock worked fine before in The Heat, like their chemistry was really good. I'm excited to see where this movie goes, but the thing with McCarthy is she can work good if you give her good material. This movie may or may not have good material. The trailer is just her sticking up a McDonald's or something with a paper bag on her hand that looks like a gun. She has another McDonald's bag on her head. It has the typical McCarthy tropes. She also wants apple pies, and it's an interesting trailer. I'll see when it comes out if it'll be any good. Closing thoughts on this movie was, I was hesitant to see this because, like I said, it's been such a long time since they've done anything, and their second movie I really didn't care for. It felt more like an hour-and-a-half long episode of Trailer Park Boys rather than an actual movie. When you make a movie of something, you make a TV show. If you need more substance, you need more, like, this happens, like consequences, actions, stuff like that. In the second movie, it was just Randy Leahy and the Trailer Park Boys just fucking around doing stupid shit. It wasn't that good. It didn't hold my attention that well. It was funny. It wasn't interesting. Second one was good. It was like, this is our last big heist sort of thing, and we're going to get it done. That worked. It was an episode, a gist of an episode, but it was a gist of a season, more or less. And it was good, but the sequel wasn't. This one was good. If people hadn't told me it was good, I probably still would have checked it out, just because I like the Trailer Park Boys so much. And if you're hesitant to go see it, just know that it's not like the second one. It is structured, and it does have a point to it. It is worth checking out. Another thing, I don't know if it's just the theater around here or if it's all Cineplex theaters in Canada, but they're promoting a lot of Canadian content all of a sudden. It's really funny, but really weird at the same time. Like, kind of like that guy at a party who's like being overly friendly to people of other races. It's weird. They promote like movie night at like Capitol Hill or some shit like that, and Canadian music artists, the VMA winners or something, like just different Canadian awards, like a lot of Canadian stuff. It felt weird. It felt out of place. But then again, most pre-shows I don't really pay attention to. I don't care for them because they don't change that often. Maybe it's just because this was a change that it felt weird or off in some way, but